Okay, my name is Adria, and I will get to know your names and your faces as we meet in these next several weeks. Michelle and I will be available throughout the day on Skype to answer any questions. You can email either of us at any point in time, and we'll answer your questions that way. But Skype is immediate. So that's why we prefer you to use the Skype thread. The other reason we prefer you to use the Skype thread is simply because a question that you have, probably someone right next to you has the same question. And so it's always a good thing to ask your questions in the Skype thread so that all of us will gain knowledge by the question you ask and the answer we provide. I am going to real quick go through the different modalities you're going to be using. You're going to be using the ACE online portal, and I thank you all for logging into the ACE portal. You all logged in successfully. Thank you. And you're also going to be using the Real-Time Coach website. Michelle is going to be telling you more about that a little bit later. And I don't know if everyone logged in there. I know some people have already done some dictations. Bravo, that's so exciting. Anything that you have done so far puts you ahead. So you have until Tuesday of next week to complete all of week 1 tasks. So those of you who have already completed your week 1 tasks, bravo for you. You are ahead of the game. I want you to know that if ever you have a problem, if something is not working correctly, of course you have Rochelle there, and that is so wonderful. She's been through this 3 times. She knows the ropes. And she is so very helpful, and we're very grateful for her. But there are some things that Michelle and I are going to be a little bit quicker at answering, simply because we've been doing this for 24 years. So, and also there's 2 of us and 1 of Rochelle. So know that you can ask us as well, and we are going to be here for you. Remember that our focus is your success. And so it's all about getting your questions answered. If you have a question and you don't get it answered, you're not going to progress. And this is a very quick course. 8 weeks may seem like a long time now, but it is going to go so quickly, so quickly. And so I want you all to be on task. I want you all to be successful. And so know that we await your questions. You're never a bother to us. We are looking forward to your questions. Okay? So now I'm going to introduce you to ACE, to the website. And I'm going to just share this screen here. So this is ACE, as you all know, because you've already been here. The very first thing that I asked you to do was to go through the orientation section, which simply just gives you the basic rundown of what it is that that we're going to do, how we communicate with each other, where you can go to get more resources, all of those things. So orientation is pretty straightforward, but if any of you have any questions about anything in orientation, I'd be very happy to answer those questions. Also, if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat and Michelle can answer it for you. Our second course, or our first real course, is the computer skills course. The whole idea of the computer skills course is to give you the knowledge that you need to be successful as a voice writer with the transcriptionist application, the Dragon application, and just how to better use your computer so that it is going to perform at top-notch speeds for you. You have excellent computers. The computers that are purchased for you are the best computers in the world. They really are. Lenovo's are top-notch. They are business class computers. And so they're going to serve you very, very well. And we're going to try to make sure that we teach you some things along the way to help you to keep your computers running smoothly. Now, as you're going through your programs here on ACE, you're going to see things that that you can actually download. Those are mostly PDF files. PDF files are simply Adobe Acrobat Reader files that are meant to be opened and viewed on any computer that has Adobe Acrobat Reader on it. It is simply a file that you can't automatically alter, and that's why we put it in that form, so that you don't accidentally alter it. So anytime you go into a book and you go through things and we provide a PDF, anywhere where you see a PDF file, you should save it and save it to your hard drive. And before your course is over, we're going to save all of those things to that flash drive that I suggested that you get, so that you have access to all of these files that you will need later on. One thing that I want you to understand is that during your schooling here, your classes with us, we're available to you, and we're going to be available to you for a year after. But that year is going to pass pretty quickly as well. And then you'll have to rely upon yourself and free support options. And I want you to be prepared to help yourself, which is why I'm suggesting that you always save any documents that you find on ACE that are in PDF format. There is another wonderful place that some of you have logged into. That's our forum. And if you go to the AudioScribe forum, you will see that there is a transcriptionist thread. And that thread it's going to have different things for you. I put in PDFs here as well for you. And I also am going to just mention to you guys what we're going to be covering in the week. Of course, you have all of that via your Excel spreadsheet, where it is telling you what is in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, and week 8, what is expected of you and what you need to have done by the day before the next class. So the other, let's see, so we've got the forum, we've got the ACE, and I'll let Michelle tell you about Real-Time Coach. So we're going to be covering not only computer skills, but we're going to be covering Dragon Naturally Speaking. So you've got access to that as well. And then you've also got access to the transcriptionist application. And it looks like this. Here's an example of what a PDF icon looks like right here. So once you open a PDF file, you can save that file generally. If you'll see up here on my screen, you'll see there's a little printer and a little save diskette. When you click on the save diskette, you can go ahead and path to your own documents folder and then just hit save. And that will save the PDF file so that you have access to it from your own computer. And I think that's really important. The handy is something that we use to get us through the application from start to finish with a job. We like to include pictures so that it helps you to understand where you are. We'll have little images of the icons. We'll have little boxes that have helpful information in them. So we try to make sure that our FAQ documents, which stands for frequently asked questions, are beneficial to you and available to you. And so definitely you're going to want to save all of those files that are PDF. Here are instructions for doing dictations in real-time coach with transcriptionist. That's definitely something you're going to want to download and save. And let's see. There are going to be videos that you can go and watch. There are going to be quizzes. On your spreadsheet, your Excel spreadsheet, which I'm going to just open up the spreadsheet to show you what it looks like. We all have this spreadsheet. Here we go. So the spreadsheet week 1 looks like this. And it tells you what we're going to talk about. It tells you what quizzes you need to take. You can take each quiz twice. That's why there's a space for your first grade and your second grade. We always will take your best grade. And it also lists what dictations you're responsible for doing during that week. So everything that you're responsible for having to do during each week is specified in the week tabs in your spreadsheet. You also have a quiz and exams tab. Mine has all of your names on it, but yours will only have one. Well, it's only for you, so you'll be recording all of your grades here. And the reason that you're going to record your grades is that you're going to turn it in at the end of our class. And that way I will compare the grades that I have with the grades that you have. And if they're different, I will go and look them up and make sure that we're right and that we've got the best of your scores. So that's definitely something you're going to need to keep up with and turn in when class is over. Okay. The real-time dictations, you have a whole spreadsheet of those, and you'll need to put your numbers in. You can see that Michelle has already recorded the numbers for those people who've already begun. And I just want to shout out to Karen and Natasha and Shobha, is it? Denise, Anne, and Anslem. Bravo for giving it the old college try, and Crystal. That's wonderful. I appreciate you guys trying to get ahead of the game. That's really fantastic. So now that I have given you a brief rundown of what we're going to go over.
So can everyone see my screen? Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about Real-Time Coach. And Real-Time Coach is the tool that you're going to be using to practice dictation, build your speed, and get better recognition, or increase your recognition. Sorry about that. And so a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about is, let's see. Okay, so from when you're going to be doing dictations in Real-Time Coach, it's very important that you remember, I'm going to create a new job by going to File and New in Transcriptionist. And it's going to be very important that you choose, you can put in a name, and I would suggest that you put the name of the dictation that you will be doing. So this is testimony. I'm going to just put Mr. Ogden. And he is, actually, I like to put the speed at the beginning so I can remind myself. And so it's going to be important that you make sure that the style is set to Real-Time Coach dictation. And this is important because of the way certain things are handled in Real-Time Coach. This formatting is set up so that you should have no problems with the dictations in Real-Time Coach based on the formatting that we use. Okay, so I'm going to click on OK here. And then I'm going to highlight Mr. Ogden and click on Dictate. Oh, and I'm having a problem opening scope.
Teaching moment.
I
said teaching moment.
Yes. Yes, very good. And so this could be a couple of things. I'm going to close out a transcriptionist, and I am going to first check my VLC version. VLC is a tool that we use in conjunction with our software, and when we have a problem opening scope, the VLC is typically part of the problem. So I'm opening up and I'm going to check about, and voila. We're supposed to be running version 2.1.5, and this is a newer version. So I need to remove this version and install the correct one. So I'm going to go to Start, Settings. Now, typically I would have to go to Apps, and then I'm going to search here for VLC, and I'm going to uninstall that version. I'm just going to follow the prompts. Here I'm going to delete all preferences and cache. And then click on Finish. Now, I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to go to my File Explorer. I'm going to go to the C drive, to Audio Scribe, and we have hidden, or we have placed on your computer the install so that this can be easily remedied. So I'm looking for VLC 2.1.5. I double click it and I'm going to install it again. It'll just take a little bit. I scroll down and I want to delete preferences and cache, and then install. We're showing you how to troubleshoot on your very first class. So when it's done, I'm going to run the VLC media player because it's going to prompt me. We want to uncheck regularly check for updates. That's what caused my problem. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to transcriptionist. I have the job that I've created already, and I'm going to click on Dictate. And what's going to happen is you notice at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the transcriptionist screen, we call this the status bar, the part that is green. This is letting you know what's happening. as it's opening the speech engine, you cannot start recording, you cannot start dictating. You have to wait until you're, one, prompted to open your user profile, and two, that profile has completely loaded. And my computer is a little bit older than you guys, so it might take a little bit longer. Okay, so here we are. We are back, and what I want to show you is I'm going to click on this dictation. As you can see, I haven't done this dictation before. But a couple of things that you should be aware of when you're doing dictations is, one thing that I have found very important is you will see here a personal dictionary and a job dictionary. A good idea before you start dictating is to practice these things listed in the job and personal dictionary. And so I'm going to do that now, if you don't mind.
Please.
Detective Bonham. No, see, I didn't even say it right. Detective Bowman. Detective Bowman. Detective Whittle. Detective Whittle. Turner. Officer Bolton. Ravenel. Warren Crossley. Banana Tree Club. Meeting Street Road. Crossley. Fletcher McGraw. Fletcher. Richie Hickson. Okay, so basically, I'm going to turn my mic off, and you have to look and see what you're getting as opposed to what you want. For example, Detective Bowman, that's a correct way to put Bowman, but Real-Time Coach is going to get that incorrect. Adria, is it okay to show them how to add it to a real-time rule now? Or is that too advanced?
I think that you can show them, but I think it may be better to show them untrans.
Okay.
Or I mean, I guess really that would be more difficult, wouldn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's going to be easier for them to just say what they see in the beginning. So maybe real-time rules is the best thing to show them right now.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these various things that are being misrecognized, and I'm going to add them to what we call real-time rules. And what a real-time rule is, every time SpeechCat sees Detective Bowman this way, as you can see highlighted, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to Edit, Real-Time Rules. Now, I have already created a folder called RTC for Real-Time Coach.
I like that.
Because I turn it off when I'm doing real stuff.
Right. That
Okay.
makes good sense.
Yep. So let me show you. For you guys, you would need to click on Add New Folder. And I'm just going to call this TNT RTC for Trinidad Real-Time Coach. Okay. And once I've created that folder, I'm going to check it, and then I'm going to go to Add Phrase or Word. Okay. In the replace, I'm going to put what I received from Dragon, which was Detective Bowman. And I'm going to
paste it, right, with Control V as in Victor.
Yes, I did.
Right.
And so what I want to do is type in the way I need it to actually come out. Okay. So every time transcriptionist sees Detective Bowman, it's going to replace it with Detective Bowman. And so I add that rule. And then I also had Detective Widow. Now, I just so happen to remember this. If you don't remember, you can minimize this and go back and see what you need to. Okay, so I replaced Detective Widow with Detective Whittle, and I add the rule. So the way real-time rules work is it's absolute. So every time it sees Detective Widow, it's going to always replace it with the proper Detective Whittle what Real-Time Coach is looking for. And by doing that in advance, I'm helping my recognition because it's going to come up correct all the time as I dictate. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go to Edit, Reload Real-Time Rules, and I'm going to turn it on and try Detective Bowman and Detective Whittle. Detective Bowman, Detective Whittle. And so when I do this dictation, they're going to come up right to begin with. So it's always a good idea. In the beginning, when I started using Real-Time Coach, I didn't pay attention to this at all. And it makes all the difference in the world. It could give you 2, 3, even 5% recognition accuracy on top of what you're doing. So real-time rules can be very effective for you. So that was something that I wanted to show you. I'm not going to do an actual dictation, but I wanted to show you to make sure you use the job dictionary and figure out how you're going to make those things come up correctly. Now,
Michelle,
oh, yes.
Michelle, I just wanted to ask you to maybe explain to them why it came out red.
Okay, yes. So when you use a real-time rule, okay, back up a second. When you're dictating in Transcriptionist, the text that comes out black is the text that Dragon recognized and put down on the screen. Means that that came from Dragon and it's unedited. The red text is text that SpeechCat adjusted and made changes to. Thereby, it's a keyboard edit. And so it's to let you know that that is part of that utterance is something in the utterance was a real-time rule, and that's why it is red. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm back here at the Real-Time Coach screen, and there's a couple of rules I want to go over with you. When you're in Real-Time Coach, you can, we don't want you to do this, but you can adjust the speed of the dictation. And I will let you know, if you lower the speed of the dictation and get a passing dictation accuracy, that does not count. It only counts when it is at the normal speed. This was a big issue for us in a previous cohort. So my suggestion to you is not to mess with the speed of the dictation at all. If you need more practice, we do have some extra practice dictations that you don't have to have required accuracy, but any of the dictations that you do in the practice that you get a passing accuracy does count as extra points for you. Okay, now there's that. That will not cause you any kind of disqualification of this dictation. You just have to pass it at the required speed. This button here, I don't want any of you to press this button. Text mode is not allowed. If you use text mode on a dictation, you will be, that dictation will be disqualified and you will get a 0 on that dictation. And there will be no chance to improve it. So those are the two things I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of before you got really deep into it, because it's important for you to know that. And that's it for Real-Time Coach. I do have a couple of other tips that I went through using Real-Time Coach and trying to learn to be a voice writer, because Adrian and I are not court reporters. We're not voice writers. We are the geeks behind AudioScribe. And so learning how to be a voice writer, which is what you guys are doing, is something that we have to do on a daily basis to try to understand what it is you guys do. And so we've learned a lot over the years. Adria has been with AudioScribe since its inception in 1997, and I have been with AudioScribe since 2000. And so a couple of things that I learned and did while I was, a couple of years ago, I was trying to learn how to do CART. And someone told me, when you're driving in the car, if you listen to talk radio or a podcast or something of that sort, practice speaking while you're driving in the car. You're not talking into a mask. It's just helping you hone the craft. So it's a good way to practice talking without having to sit at the computer. Another thing is, you know, if you need to do more practicing, TED Talks are really good. And right now we have impeachment hearings going on. And so there's lots of hearings on the internet that you can watch and practice as well. So those are all things. You don't have to have the mask to your face. You can be sitting on your couch just practicing re-speaking. Now, when I'm in the car driving and I'm chatting and I'm by myself, people look at me like I'm crazy, but that's okay. At least I'm honing my skill. So that's my tips, and practice, practice, practice is how you're going to get better. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
You will go ahead and transfer host to Diane. I'm just going to let you know that Michelle will be checking your dictations to make sure you've done all of your required dictations on a weekly basis. If there is a dictation that is causing you tremendous trouble, you need to report that to Michelle, and she will assist you on how to either use a substitute video or how to make that video succeed for you. So anytime you have any issues with Real-Time Coach at all, please report them to Michelle as soon as possible. If there's a problem with the actual website, it's Michelle that's going to work with the Real-Time Coach people to make sure that that is resolved. So I hope that the message that you're getting from us is communicate, communicate, communicate. Let us know when you have a problem with anything, and it will be our top priority to resolve that problem. Okay, Diane, are you ready? Everyone, are you seeing Diane?
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you. Okay, because it'll be important that you see her, because she's going to be showing you some things with the mask. So,
well, I am trying. Okay.
okay.
I can't see anything but Michelle's screen. It's just affixed below the banner with everyone's pictures. So I'm going to try to squint to that little tiny thing up there to make sure that I can show you the mask and some of the other things. To begin with, I'm sure that you've already know this, but when you're talking with Dragon, certain things are very, very easy, and it's like using a telephone where someone says, "What city, please?" and "Was that correct?" or "Please press 1." All of those things are easy to understand, like yes and no's, but our language is very, very complicated. So we can't use those types of things. And we had to get the computers and the software that allow us to literally carry on a conversation. And sometimes those conversations are at warp speed, but you have the ability to slow them down with your foot pedal while you are transcribing. I want to talk to you a little bit. When you're dictating, you will find that the big words are always spot on. I can say sonomyelosynthesis. Everybody can still see me and hear me, but I still see Michelle. Michelle, you're full on my screen. Anyway, sonomyelosynthesis, Dragon never misses. Doesn't really matter if you know how to spell it, Dragon does. Our problem comes when we use these wonderful little words that everybody says all day long. To, go, a, and. You need to start emphasizing certain things, but you can only emphasize so much. So you're going to get a feel for it. It takes 30 days to create a new skill, and that's what you're going to be doing. Dragon doesn't understand English, doesn't understand Spanish or Chinese or Arabic or anything else. Dragon only has little tiny pieces of sound that it gathers and it synchronizes and it runs through an algorithm. And then Dragon says, whoa, more likely than not, this is what they're saying. Again, big word, lots of syllables, Dragon's going to get right. Smaller words, it won't. So those little things are called phonemes. And at some point in time, I'd love to be able to mention them to you and talk to you about it a little bit. But I think that we may be pressed for time today. So I will go by whatever Adria and Michelle think is best at this point. I'll be back with you in a couple of weeks if you need anything. First and foremost, this is a symbiotic relationship. You've got a computer, you've got peripherals, which include your mask and your USBs, those types of things, your headsets, your microphones, and all of those work with you because your computer's not going to pick it up by itself, and it doesn't have the brain that we have, and frankly, it never will. So you are your best asset. And because of that, you need to, number one, take care of yourselves, which we'll go into in a few minutes. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice again. I haven't been able to really speak for the last 6 weeks. So this is something new. But your equipment, you have to take care of. This is the mask that I use. And I'm looking at my little picture to see if I can see what's going on. This is an AccuSpeak mask, and I have a muffle mitt on it. I prefer, see, it's easier just to do it this way. I like the large gel seal, okay? And I also put a little cover over it that Adria found me years ago, and I absolutely love it. This is part of a sock, just in case you're wondering what it is and where it came from. It works. It's not scratchy. It's very soft. Anyway, you've got to take care of your mask. Do you have 2 cords on your mask or 1?
No, they only have one.
Okay. Even then, your cord is probably a little bit longer. Whatever you do, don't roll on it. Don't swing your mask around by the cord. Take very good care of it because that cord has an adapter on the end of it. It has the cord itself, and the wires can and do break or they short out. And this is your livelihood. And then it goes into the microphone that's in your mask. So you've got a lot of chances to cause some damage. And that means that you need to take care of your mask. So what I do, this is an older thing that I sort of rigged. I have a little plastic drinking straw because then this particular muffle mitt did not have an access point to it. At night, I use these silicone gel packs. It's kind of hard for me to look sideways to see what you're seeing, and I realized it was out of your field of vision. My apologies. These come in athletic shoes. They come in pocketbooks. They come in all kinds of things. And I use these. I put them in the mask. And what do? They absorb the moisture overnight. The big taboo is when your mask has so much moisture in it that it distorts the sound. And it's very uncomfortable. And it can make you sick. You have to be careful. You have to keep them clean. I use just a little cloth that I blot out at every break that I take. And I will just throw a couple of these in. Then when I come back from break, I will take those out. I believe you have the sponges, which are wonderful. My sponges are not with me anymore. So I actually use a nursing pad. Now, this is for me. I'm retired. So the sponges that you have are especially designed to absorb the moisture better. But this is pretty darn good. Anyway, I put it in very gently, making sure that I do not cover a microphone, okay? That's not good. And I have a couple of other little strips of ShamWow, since I have this large surface mask, that I tuck in. Now, those are changed every time I have a break. Let's say I'm in court, or you're sitting there, you've got a full day's worth of work, 8 hours. I'm sure you take breaks. I'm not sure how long they are, maybe every couple of hours. I would change out everything at the time. You're not going to be able to change your sponges, but what you can do is I take a paper towel, I put the sponge between it, and I flatten it. And then I move the sponge over, squeeze it again, flatten it, over. It squeezes the moisture out. Your nemesis is moisture. That microphone gets wet, it's like talking underwater. It's very, very difficult. Now, they've come a long way, but we still have moisture. And I don't know about you, but I'm rather juicy. And if you want to keep your sound as it should be for dragon, then you're going to be needing to sip something occasionally, which is going to add to that. So make sure that you keep your cords untangled. Always know where they are if you have to. Pull them up a little bit closer so that they don't fall off of your desk. Try to have everything that you're going to use for your session within an arm's reach of where you are, so that you're not bending over and take the chance of dropping a mask or something else. Any questions about the mask?
Diane,
yeah.
there are a few people in the waiting room. Can you let them in?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
I'm too
busy looking at that little thumbnail up there trying to hit my webcam.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that feature off after today. I just can't turn it off right now. I apologize.
Well, my bad. I will try to look down there. Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that.
No problem.
At night, and even when you change out that material, let it air out. Even if you're just away from your desk for 10 minutes, let it air out. Always put it face up to air out. If you put it face down, it's just trapping that moisture in there. It's doing no good whatsoever. So never, ever. I've had students that put this in a plastic bag and take it home and leave it for a day or two. I don't know what to say. I would never use that mask. You know, I'm getting older. I have to be careful of my health. So I am a little more particular about this. If you want to clean out the inside of your mask and your face piece, I take just a little bit of very, very mild soap once in a while, and just on the face piece. I don't put the soap or cotton ball or any type of ShamWow, something that doesn't have lint with it. I don't put that inside the mask because you don't want to damage your microphone with any moisture. But you do need to wipe it out. Make sure that it stays clean and dry, and it'll get you through day after day of wonderful recognition. So, any questions from anyone? Again, if you aren't able to find these larger silicone gel packs, you've got furniture stores, handbags. The furniture stores bring all of their larger pieces in with crates that are just full of these, but they're about 4 to 6 inches long, and they're as big around as my fist. And one of those takes the place of several of the smaller ones. So if you can find those, they'll be happy to give them to you. They just toss them out. Make sure that you try to keep a collection of them. And also, the little desiccants that come in some of your medicine bottles, these also are good if you cannot find or if you don't have any silicone gels. One thing that I like to tell everybody when you're using the mask, we're going to be talking in just a moment about your posture and about how you need to sit to improve your recognition and, frankly, to make sure that you're healthy. Dragon's not going to understand you if you're breathing from the top of your chest and you're like this at the end of the day. And I mentioned a phoneme to you, and what Dragon hears are sounds that have like b, k, d. If you hear that little sort of a breath sound at the end of it, just a little bit of wind, Dragon can misunderstand and think that's another word or another part of a word. So make sure that you're always breathing the way that I'm going to show you momentarily. As for posture, I believe I can get to the bottom of this. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good, good, good. All right. You're going to be seated for a long period of time. And in order to get the best recognition, you're going to want to stay in a certain position. It's not rigid. You're not going to be in concrete. But you want to make sure that you keep your vocal cords open and your palate open while you're dictating. But your posture is very important for all of this. So these are the basics. Your feet need to be flat on the floor at a 45-degree angle. Your screen needs to be elevated. I saw from some of your pictures that your screen is either a little bit too high or it's a little bit too low. You want to try to get your eyes either in the middle of your screen or just slightly above it. Make sure that you keep all of your often used items close, because when you turn, when you move, you can still talk, you're still dictating, but your sound's not going to be the same and your recognition is not going to be the same. So make sure that you keep your shoulders relaxed and try to keep your hands and arms and elbows at a 90-degree angle. Make sure that your lower back is supported. And again, make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. No crossing your legs, no turning side to side in your chair. If you turn your torso, I promise you that will also affect your sound and recognition. So next is what we are.
Diane,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have someone in the waiting room.
Okay. What happens is this covers up and then I can't see it. Just a moment.
No worries. Oh,
I'm not showing a notice.
got them.
No, I'm not showing a notice of anyone in the waiting room.
Hmm.
Normally it pops up on the bottom and says that there's someone that's in the waiting room.
Anne, are you back in yet? Anselm, are you back in?
Let me see.
Still waiting.
Anselm's name on the screen says Christian. I don't know if he goes by Christian instead of Anselm, but when he was on the screen, anyway.
Is Michelle talking to me? Because I can't hear her.
I don't know. I heard her, but very muffled.
Yeah, that was what I got.
So you still can't see them in the waiting room?
No, I don't see the notice. I'm trying to move some of the things around to see it, but Before, it just popped up on the bottom and it just said so many were waiting, and then I clicked on it, was able to let them in, but I'm not seeing that notification.
Hmm. One, two, three, four. We have at least 4 people in the waiting room. Let me
You
see
want to
if
take the screen back for a moment and let them in, because I do not get the notification.
gotcha. Okay. I've got it.
Okay.
Let's see, admit. Admit all. Okay. Okay. You're the host again.
All right. Okay. Now I forgot. Where was I? I think we're about ready to start breathing.
Yeah, I think that you were about to talk to them about breathing in the mask.
Yes. It is not what I wanted to do. Back to where I showed you the proper posture that you're going to be utilizing while you're dictating. I did forget at the time to tell you one thing. It's kind of hard for me to focus around here, and I do apologize for that. Anyway, when you are seated, and again, I will show you some pictures of this, but your mask will fit. You're not able to see it. Maybe that's a little bit better angle. Thank you, Adria, that helps. I see you perfectly. Okay. I splay my fingers on the back of the muffle mitt, like this. Oh, I also turn the seal up. And the reason I do that as opposed to this way, the seal is a little too wide for my mouth, number one. The other thing is that I'm nasal. I'm very nasal. I don't want that extra sound. Remember I told you about the little phonemes and how you get these breath sounds? I want to try to not have that interfere as well. So I turn it this way. I can still breathe. I just barely touch it against my nose. But when I splay my fingers, it also allows me to ever so slightly elevate my chin. What does this do? It opens up your palate. You get better sound. You get better, much better recognition. If you bend your head down, you're closing off all of your speech organs, and that's not going to work well. So again, all of this, your posture, feet flat, sit up straight, relax your shoulders, try to look at the midpoint of your screen, hold your mask, only slightly elevate your chin, sorry, and then you will begin dictating. When I'm dictating, first time you see your words appear on that screen, and probably you may have already, or some of you have, you are just going to be mesmerized. You won't be able to look away. You're going, oh my gosh, I'm talking to a computer and it recognizes me. I can't believe it. Well, you've just lost 3 sentences of whatever you were supposed to be saying because you saw it hit the screen. We'll talk about in a few minutes how you need to lag behind. You don't want to anticipate what someone's going to say, and nor do you want to have to roll out this whole string of words when, guess what? You may have a code phrase that says those words for you. And just briefly, it's something like, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen of the jury, or beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a mouthful. And if you get someone, not me, who said it very slowly, and they say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, yeah, that's beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, you may get tongue-tied. And you've got the little breath sounds in there again, and your words are not distinct. So what if you say, ladies and gentlemen, and it's lay gents? And what if you say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and it's legenti? And what if you say, beyond a reasonable doubt, and it's brout? You've taken all of those words, combined them into one phrase. Now, be judicious about what you do. Don't go putting everything together and come up with 300 different things, because I promise you, if you don't try to add 1 or 2 or maybe 3 new things every couple of days, you'll forget. And you don't want to sit there saying, oh, wait a minute, I have a phrase for that. I've got a voice stroke, or I've got a brief form. Well, they've just finished their closing arguments, and now you're having to go back and find where you were as a transcriptionist and begin again. So, okay. As far as the breathing, all of this ties together. If you hold this up, it's the way you're also going to be breathing, but this time we're going to be breathing in through our nose and out through our mouths. Put your feet flat on the floor. Want you to lift your shoulders slightly, roll them back. Hold your head up slightly, look straight ahead. Remember, we want this little bit of elevation to open up your palate. I want you to take your hands and I want you to place them on your upper abdomen. Now, when we breathe, we're not going to breathe with the top part of our chest, because you'll be out of breath. Number one, you're in a mask. It's a confined space. You're going to be huffing and puffing, trying to keep up with people. And your words won't come out. And frankly, you won't have any stamina to get through whatever dictation and whatever work you have to do for the day. So my recommendation is that always breathe through the diaphragm. If you have ever sang in a choir, that's the one thing that they, pardon the pun, preach to you, is to keep you, all of the air comes up from the diaphragm, not what small amount is up here, just in your upper chest. So with your hands on your abdomen, you will always breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. If your shoulders went up like mine did with the first breath that I took, that's not the proper breathing. Your shoulders should remain steady, and only your abdomen will be expanding outward when you breathe in. And when you exhale, it will contract and your hands will slightly come in. You've got other people that are there. You may take 3 to 5 minutes every day. I always go through the breathing when I first start. It's kind of like getting you ready to begin work for the day. And besides, it's a Zen thing. It makes you feel pretty good. But they can tell you, no, you're breathing from the top of your chest, or no, you're not breathing from your abdomen. I promise you, not only do you take care of your equipment, you have got to take care of your health. And this is absolutely one thing that you need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. It's in 2 different parts. And I hope if you can't hear me, please let me know.
Upper part of your chest. One of the first things that you need to learn is how to breathe properly inside a mask, so that Dragon has a better opportunity to understand what you are saying. In order to breathe properly, your posture is of utmost importance. To learn proper breathing requires learning a new skill. Ready? Put your feet flat on the floor. Sit all the way back. Lift your shoulders, roll them back slightly, lower them, become comfortable. Slightly elevate your chin. This helps open your palate for a clearer sound. You're going to be breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You want to make sure that you do not have breath sounds inside the confined space of your mask. In order to achieve that, you have to practice. This is a skill, just like the other skills you will learn in voice writing. Ready? Breathe through your nose out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Place your hands on your abdomen. I want to make sure that you are cognizant of the fact that you are breathing from your diaphragm and not from the upper part of your chest. When you breathe in, your hands will slightly expand outward. When you exhale, they will slightly contract inward. Ready? In through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keep going. Inhale through your nose to the count of 2. Exhale to the count of 4. Inhale to the count of 2. Exhale to the count of 4. Pay attention to your hands and pay attention to your breathing. Do not inhale with your mouth open. I'm going to use 2 little phrases to help you learn to speak while breathing properly. These are the phrases that all the way through Dragon 14 we had to utilize every single time we did general training. So, to begin, we're going to start in a conversational voice, and then I'm going to get you to lower your voice so that you can arrive at your reporter's voice, which is that very, very soft-spoken, never whispered, only soft-spoken voice. The one that you would use if you would be standing over a crib with a sleeping baby so as to not awaken that child. In through your nose, out through your mouth. I'm going to say the phrase twice, and then I'm going to invite you to join me. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Join me. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Continue. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Keep going. Make sure that your mouth is always closed at the end of each of those phrases. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. A little softer. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Softer. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Softer. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Reporter's voice. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. A little faster. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to General Training. Training is about to begin. All right. Stop there. Now, you obviously can't do this breathing exercise in a courtroom or even at the beginning of a deposition, not out loud the way that we have just done it. But what you can do is sit there for just a moment. Take a couple of those cleansing breaths in and out. This exercise becomes an on switch, if you will, which mentally prepares you to go to work.
In order to breathe properly, your posture is of utmost importance. To learn proper breathing requires learning a new skill. Ready? Put your feet flat on the floor. Sit all the way back. Lift your shoulders, roll them back slightly. Lower them. Become comfortable. Slightly elevate your chin. It helps open your palate for a clearer sound. You're going to be breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You want to make sure that you do not have breath sounds inside the confined space of your mask. In order to achieve that, you have to practice. This is a skill, just like the other skills you will learn in voice writing. Ready? Breathe through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Place your hands on your abdomen. I want to make sure that you are cognizant of the fact that you are breathing from your diaphragm and not from the upper part of your chest. When you breathe in, your hands will slightly expand outward. When you exhale, they will slightly contract inward. Ready? In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Keep going. Inhale through your nose to the count of 2. Exhale to the count of 4. Inhale to the count of 2. Exhale to the count of 4. Pay attention to your hands and pay attention to your breathing. Do not inhale with your mouth open. This is the continuance. I'm going to use 2 little phrases to learn you to speak while breathing properly. These are the phrases that all the way through Dragon 14, we had to utilize every single time we did general training. So, to begin, we're going to start in a conversational voice, and then I'm going to get you to lower your voice so that you can arrive at your reporter's voice, which is that very, very soft spoken, merely a whisper soft spoken, one that you will use if you would be standing over a crib with a sleeping baby, so as to not awaken the child. In through your nose, out through your mouth. I'm going to say the phrase twice, and then I'm going to invite you to join me. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Join me. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Continue. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Keep going. Make sure that your mouth is always closed at the end of each of those phrases. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. A little softer. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Softer. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Softer. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Reporter's voice. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Welcome to general training. Training is about to begin. Now, you obviously can't use this breathing exercise in a courtroom or even at the beginning of a deposition, not out loud like we've just done it, period. But what you can do is sit there for just a moment. Take a couple of those cleansing breaths in and out, period. This exercise becomes an on switch, if you will, which mentally prepares you to go to work. Or not, but the last, I don't know, somewhere in between the last 4 and 5 times I said that, I said the word period. And the reason that I did that is because You will learn that Dragon learns better sometimes when you insert just a little bit of punctuation. And I am so used to dictating that when I say, welcome to general training, training is about to begin, period. That's not in the recording. I was repeating it and I added the punctuation. So just didn't want to confuse you and want to tell you what you have to look forward to when you start saying, however, comma, when next I saw them, comma, what were they doing? I don't recall, period. So I told you that when you begin laying down words in Dragon, you're going to be fascinated by the screen, and then you are going to forget several words that were said because you're just too excited about it. Something else that will happen is you will hear a word that you've never ever heard before, and you're going to want to stop. And what you need to do is, if you don't know what that word is, try parroting it. And what I mean by parroting is repeating the word. Chances are pretty darn good that Dragon's going to get it anyway, whether you know what the word is or not. And remember, Dragon knows how to spell those great big words too, which is very, very helpful. Time that words will be, they can stop you in your tracks, is if someone says something that you don't pronounce in the same way. For instance, depending on what decade you were born in. Sometimes if someone says Caribbean, you may have learned to say Caribbean. Or if they say tinnitus, you may have learned tinnitus, which is the new saying, pronunciation. Carotid, as opposed to carotid. Or harassment, instead of harassment. Or Himalayas, instead of Himalayas. And one of my least favorites, vitamin, instead of vitamin, or vice versa. Dragon may or may not get those, but don't panic when you hear them. This is all a skill. It takes 30 days to learn a new skill, and that's what you're going to be doing. So every day that you're dictating, every day that you're looking at what the Dragon is actually displaying, you will learn to write those down and say, whoa, Dragon thought I said this, but this is what I really said. And then later on, Adrienne, Michelle, and perhaps even I will touch on what types of things you can do to make those phrases come out correctly. Do you need to do correction mechanism? Do you need to improve your speech? And right now, I promise you, your diction's the number one. That's going to be the worst for you. But again, 30 days to create a new skill. Every day that you do this, your breathing will get better. Dragon will understand you better simply because you're performing better. So the other thing, and pardon me for doing this, this was my PowerPoint that got eaten up. There are simply some words that will never ever come out right for you because we are all individuals. I have my own group of negative words that just about drove me bananas. Maybe it did. Anyway, beat my head against the wall. Adria told me at one point in time, and it made so much sense that I'm going to share it with you. She said, why do you keep just like water trying to bounce against that rock? You don't need to do that. Have you ever noticed that water doesn't just hit against that rock? It actually sometimes just flows around it and over it, meaning find a new path, Diane. You need to do this differently. And she was right, very right. For instance, one of my problem phrases was yes, sir. You're going to hear that 1,000,000+ times, yes, sir. I couldn't get it to say yes, sir. I got yes or, no matter what I did, no matter how many times I trained it, I just could not get it to come out right. I still think that was a dragon bug way back when, but nobody else has agreed with me on that. They make me think that it's all my fault, but I learned from it. And that's the important point. you will take all of these new little things, all of these new experiences, and you will learn and you will be able to apply them again in the future. So what did I learn with that horrible yeser that came out, yes or every time? I learned I had to change my voice inflection. I couldn't say yes, sir, and swallow that last syllable because Dragon didn't hear it right. I now say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I promise you, Dragon never, ever misses. Now, that was my nemesis, and that's how I found to resolve it. And you will find many, many that will cause you the same consternation, I'm sure. And I don't know where on earth that word came from. I haven't thought of consternation in decades. The other thing is I'm in Metro Atlanta, and I moved to Decatur, Decatur, DeKalb, Dekalb County, Georgia. And I thought I was going to have to leave because I couldn't ever get the venue to come out right. And by venue, I mean the location that something occurs. They don't say it slowly. It's just one of those markers that they have to get in to make that record. So it was Decatur, DeKalb County, Georgia. Well, did I get in Decatur, Decatur? Nope. I got indicator, like the turn signal on your car, every single time. DeKalb, did I get the county? Nope. I got, for whatever reason, the cab, like I was ordering a ride to take me to the airport. Georgia came out fine. So I had to learn to say it differently. Even though they spoke it very rapidly and ran all those words together like it was just all together with no spaces, I had to change the way I said it. So instead of Indicator, DeKalb County, Georgia, it became Indicator, DeKalb County, Georgia. And you'll find that those words happen with you also. But do you have any questions? Is there anything?
Okay, thank you so much, Diane. One of the things that I wanted to say in follow-up to what Diane said is that right now you're just beginning, so you're not seeing a lot of the problems that you are going to see. Also, I find that Trinidadians tend to be lovely speakers. You tend to speak very well. And you do have an accent that is unique, but I believe that most of our Trinidadians have used, I bet Rochelle will remember this better than I'm remembering it, possibly United Kingdom as the preferred language model. And then I believe after United Kingdom, there's another subsection that you can select other, because your accent is unique, of course. And so it brings in a little bit of the British, but more of that West Indies. And so you can specify that in Dragon, and that's going to help you. I find that most of my Trinidadian customers have very good recognition and use very good diction. And so most likely things are going to go very well for you with Dragon, but you are going to have problems, like we all have problems. They're going to be unique to you, as Diane said. That's going to be something that we're going to talk about every week. We'll talk about how to increase your recognition accuracy. That will be a weekly conversation. And we have many, many ways to improve your accuracy. Just know, and this is the best advice I can give you, is that it's not about changing your voice at all. I do not want any of you to change your voice. Trinidadians, you guys almost all have a very soft speaking voice when it comes to your regular speech between people. You laugh loudly, but your voice is quiet. And what a wonderful thing that you laugh loudly. That's a great thing. It is going to happen to you that while you're in the mask, keep in mind that you don't want to be loud. You don't have to push your voice. Your normal speaking volume is going to be fine. Dragon is going to like it quite well. Dragon doesn't like it when you whisper, and it doesn't like it when you yell. A normal volume is what you need. And you don't want to sound robotic like this. You do not have to talk like this. The name of the program is Dragon Naturally Speaking. And it's that way because it does want you to speak naturally. When you are hearing, one of the things Diane said, which we're definitely going to talk about, and it's a good thing to know, is that you're going to be able to control the audio that you're listening to with your foot pedal. So if they happen to start going really, really fast, you can slow it down. That's going to be very beneficial. Okay? Very beneficial. So know that you can slow the audio down. In 8 weeks, we're going to sit here on your last day of class, and I'm going to say, didn't I tell you so? And what I'm going to be talking about is this. Believe it or not, in 8 weeks, you will be able to dictate at 220 words a minute. Do you believe that?
Yes.
It's really hard to believe, but it is going to happen. Just so that you know, the average person, we speak about 160 to 180 words per minute, just in everyday conversation. So when you're listening to a proceeding, what you're going to notice is that everything is fine, then perhaps the questioning gets a bit heated. Then people speed up. Do you know how when you get excited or angry, you tend to talk faster? You may have never noticed that before, but you're going to start noticing all these crazy, strange things that you've never noticed before, like getting excited and speaking faster. So when you're listening and redictating or re-speaking from what you're hearing, you're going to notice that when people get excited, they speak faster. That is going to be more challenging to you. Keep in mind as well that if you have a sinus infection, you're going to sound a little different. That's okay. We're going to teach Dragon how we sound when we're well and when we're sick. And that's going to make a difference. We are also going to have to learn that when we are ill and we're trying to breathe through our nose, that's not going to work. You know, you can't breathe through your nose when it's stopped up. There are other ways of breathing, other techniques that some people use called the tilt method, where they actually do this. Do you see how I'm just opening it a little bit to the side just to get a fresh breath of air? It's really important that you let yourself get those fresh breaths so that you are breathing properly. Also, when we're talking about the foam that we put inside the mask, remember that you can wash this with dish soap and let it dry overnight before you put it back in your mask the next day. After you're ill, you definitely want to wash it. Okay? So that is the basis of what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be doing in the next 8 weeks. every first class has its challenges. Today, the challenges were absolutely caused by the waiting room, which is all my fault. I apologize. We will not have this problem next week. I look forward to working with you all. Michelle looks forward to working with you. Diane looks forward to working with you. You have a great team at your disposal. Please utilize us to the greatest extent that you can.
Okay, someone wanted to know if let's see what the exact question is. It's about she created her user profile with US.
Okay.
Is there an easy way to switch to the UK?
Not that I know of, Michelle. Can you switch?
Well, I think I have my Dragon installed with US English only.
Right.
But if they have installed all versions of the English language, then they may be able to switch to UK.
Okay, we will look into that for you guys because that is a good question.
Yeah. I'll have to reinstall Dragon.
Yes.
And install all versions to see. And then if I can, I will create a FAQ and I will put it in the Skype group for all of you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
That's wonderful. And it may be a good idea to restart the user now. You can start another user without deleting the user you already have. So if you are concerned and you want to try a UK user with other regions specified, do it now before you get too far in. Okay, and if you need help with that, let us know. So, anything else, ladies?
No.
No, we're good? Okay.
I thank everyone for their patience.
What's that?
I thank everyone for their patience.
Oh, yes. Thank you all for your patience and your attention. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
And it was great meeting and seeing all of you.
Indeed. Indeed. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.